My name is Eric Welander. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Arlo Pro 3 wireless camera system and using it with Apple HomeKit. So you've probably noticed a trend on this channel as I talk about different brands that integrate with Apple HomeKit, that there's this sort of series of brands that are more these premium experiences that you pay a little bit extra for, but offer really reliable experiences. And I think that there's maybe a few different players challenging who is that in video for smart homes. I think video, especially related to video in HomeKit, is heating up a lot in 2020. There's a lot of new players entering the space and a lot of existing players adding new products like Arlo. And I think Arlo might become or might already be one of those companies. So the Arlo Pro 3 was released at the end of 2019 and they added HomeKit support in February. The camera records in 2K video quality, which is about 1.6 megapixels more than 1080p. It's 2560 by 1440, which is exactly half of 4K resolution. Now, it's important to note Arlo also makes the Arlo Ultra camera, which does record fully in 4K. But this Arlo Pro 3 also has a 160-degree field of view, which is wider than a lot of other cameras that support HomeKit. And it also has this cool feature called color night vision. It has a spotlight on it that it will light up when it detects motion at night. And then with that and some other cool video tech behind the scenes, they're able to make this sort of faded color look over what would otherwise just be a black and white night vision photo. Now, you get what you pay for, but you pay for it with Arlo. This 2-camera kit plus the hub that I got retails for $499 US. I happen to get mine on sale for $399 US. Now you can also use this hub with up to 6 cameras, so you can mix and match and expand your setup potentially over time, but these 2 cameras plus the hub is a great way to get started. So what comes in the box? Of course, you get the 2 cameras and the hub and the related cables to hook up the hub. You also get 1 battery per camera and a proprietary charging cable to charge those cameras. Now you also get 2 different mounts. The Arlo has a mount for this camera. This is just like a tripod style mount where you screw in the back of the camera onto the mount, and then they also have a magnet style mount where there's like a magnet ball, and then the back of the camera has a magnet that then latches onto that mount. Now they include 1 of each type of mount for the 2 cameras. I really wish for this premium of a product that they would have included 1 of each or 2 of each type of mount so that you could choose and use both magnet mounts, both tripod style mounts, or mix and match the 2. By just including 1 of each, you're forced to use both types. So then comes setup. So you take the base station, plug it into your router, plug it into power, download the Arlo app, set up a new account, or sign into an existing one, and then go through and add the base station and then add each of your cameras. From there, you want to figure out where you want to put these cameras, and hopefully you've thought about that long ahead of time, but keep in mind that you really can't put the cameras too far away from the base station. In my experience, it was about 60-ish feet in my home, but that was through a lot of walls and going between inside with the hub and outside with the cameras. So it really varies depending on your home setup, but the downside is that the hub does have to connect via Ethernet. So you're gonna have to hook it into maybe like a Wi-Fi mesh router that you happen to have, or an Ethernet plug in your wall, or a plug right on your router inside of your internet closet or whatever. But regardless, that's going to affect the range. And as you set these cameras up, though, you can look in the Arlo app and see the quality of wireless signal that the camera's getting. So that can give you an idea of where to place the camera. Then you just have to screw in the mounts wherever makes sense, put up the cameras, and you're good to go for adding HomeKit. So then inside the app, you can go through and add these cameras to HomeKit, you just go through the steps in the wizard. It was kind of weird though, because it presented me with the standard sort of adding accessories to HomeKit mode thing. And I went in to name the accessories, the cameras, and assign them a room. But then it also then walked me through an Arlo version of the same process. But you know, at the end of it, I just put in the same data twice and everything seemed to work fine. Just kind of weird how that worked out. Now, each camera not only exposes the camera, but it also exposes a motion sensor to HomeKit. So you're able to then make any number of automations off of the motion sensor events, like when it started detecting motion, stopped detecting motion. So maybe when your camera starts detecting motion, when you're not at home, then you can have some lights inside the house turn on automatically to appear to that person as if someone's actually home. Or, you know, you could just have lights in a certain room turn off if there hasn't been any motion for a certain period of time, if that's how you're having the camera run. Now, this is a very common feature of a lot of cameras in HomeKit to also expose a motion sensor, but I just wanted to note that it is cool and nice that Arlo also adds this as well. There's another elephant in the room when it comes to Arlo, and that's the Arlo Smart subscription. And I'm gonna get on my soapbox here a little bit and just say that I am sick and tired of all these people on the internet complaining about how Arlo charges money for a subscription for their cloud service. I know that in the past they gave 7 days free of cloud recording with certain cameras and stuff, but I think it makes perfect sense. These servers cost money. The developers to maintain this service and keep it secure and reliable costs money. So, you know, I feel good that if I want this service, then I'm paying my own money for it to make sure that it's reliable and secure. If having a subscription cost is a concern to you or something you don't want to deal with, I don't think you should look at Arlo. Yes, you can use their cameras without a subscription, but it's just they've been designed so much to work through the subscription system. I think you should really look at other brands like maybe Eufy if you want something that doesn't require a monthly subscription. So how much money does it actually cost me? Now, with my initial setup, I think it's like a 3-month free trial of Arlo Smart. So I'm on that right now, but then it's $2.99 per camera. If I have up to 5 cameras, then I can get that for $9.99. And that's at the 2K level with the Arlo Pro 3. If you happen to get Arlo Ultra cameras that record 4K, you could have those work at 2K, or you could also pay $4.99 per camera or $14.99 for 5 to do those. And you can mix and match, from what I understand, any number of these different subscriptions depending on your camera setup and needs. So what is this monthly cost getting you? Well, first, it puts 30 days of your recording history in the cloud. So that means that any of the clips where it detects motion or an animal or a package or, you know, a person or something, that gets sent up to the cloud and then is accessible for 30 days. If you want more than 30 days, you can hook up a USB drive to your main Arlo hub in your home, and that then allows you to access more recording. You can also specify activity zones for these alerts. So let's say a main street is in part of the view of your camera. You might not want motion notifications for every car that happens to pass by on the main street. So you can set different zones where you want to have motion detected, and then give each of those zones a name that makes sense for your setup. So for that object detection, it can detect people, animals, vehicles, or packages. And then it can also detect the audio of something like a smoke alarm or just any other loud noise and alert you of that as well. And you can configure per camera which of these detections make sense. One of the downsides is that the person detection, at least as of yet, you can't have it recognize specific people to say, oh, if you see this person's face, don't send me an alert because they're part of my family. Also, with the packages, I don't have these cameras in a place where I actually get deliveries dropped off, so I wasn't able to really test the packages in the real world, but I did put boxes in front of the cameras just to see how it worked. In the front yard by the driveway, I put packages out. It had no problem picking them up. Now, I will say that my Nest Hello doorbell seems to do a really good job of differentiating between, oh, this package was dropped off, or this package was picked up. And it seems like these cameras have a little bit more trouble differentiating between those, because I would pick up a package and it would still notice the event and tell me about it, but it wouldn't really say that, oh, this time the package was picked up. So speaking of the camera telling me about stuff, there's enhanced notifications. So these get sent to your device with an image of whatever the event is, and then it even inside the image highlights the area where that motion or whatever object is. And then there's a button at the bottom of the image you can tap to go straight into the live feed of the camera. And then below that, there's actions you can take on this, which sort of highlight some of the other features within the Arlo Smart subscription. There's E911, which calls the local authorities. If you're a US customer, it calls the local emergency response for your home. So if you're away from your home, then you can actually call the local police department that can respond to your house rather than wherever you happen to be at the moment. You can also quickly call a friend from that notification, which is where inside the Arlo app, you can specify up to 3 friends that you can, or neighbors, family, whoever, to give a quick call to if something happens. And then you can also turn on the very loud siren on the camera if you want to do that. So let me take you inside the Arlo app and just show you a little bit of details of my setup and what that looks like and how it works. So I open the main screen and I see devices here, and these are my different cameras. And from there, I can then tap the play button and then it will connect and give me a live view of that camera. And then I can make that full screen, and of course makes that landscape on my phone. And then I can, turn on the spotlight, talk through it. I'm going to go over here then to the library tab, and this shows me a library of all my different clips that it detected, motion or whatever. And you can see each clip categorizes what it is. So there's motion, here's person, 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 and then there's an animal. And if I go back to yesterday, you'll see the package detected. So it really tries to classify what each notification is, and then I can tap up here and go to different particular days. And this is showing me clip history for all of my cameras at my home. Now, if I want to just tap in and view a particular clip, I can do that. And from there, I can then go ahead and save that to my photo library if I want to do that. And then I have it in my iCloud photo library, so it's kept forever. Of course, with Arlo Smart, it's only keeping these clips for 30 days, but if there happens to be a clip that I want to save for longer, I can just do that, tap here and save to photos, and that allows me to keep it for as long as I want. Now, those clips save at the full resolution, and I also like that I don't see any watermarks on them of like the Arlo logo somewhere. So it's just a really good quality video clip, and it's also, I find, the full quality of the video. It's not some, highly compressed live feed that you happen to see in HomeKit or the Arlo app. The other thing that's key with the Arlo clips, at least in my experience, is that the audio and video are always in sync. I haven't seen any issues where the audio and video get out of sync like I've heard other people mention with other smart home platforms. Now, the next tab over is mode. Now, this is a key part of how Arlo works with notifications. Of course, if you have your system armed, it will send you notifications about events. Disarmed means it doesn't send you any notifications. It's not looking for anything. Now, you can also set up schedules so it automatically arms or disarms at certain times. You can also do geofencing, where only arm when I'm away from home. When I'm home, I want it disarmed. And you can create any number of custom modes as well. And unfortunately, this can't be accessed through automations or anything with HomeKit, because of course, if it could, then you could do any number of things there where if this was exposed to HomeKit as some kind of a switch or a security system, then you could set that mode in HomeKit, and then this would respond accordingly. And from there, you just have additional preferences on the next screen. But now let's talk about what it's like to use these cameras in HomeKit. So if I go to the backyard here, you'll see I actually have 2 different cameras. Now the bottom one is an Arlo camera. The other one is something else that I'm testing for a future video. And then I can tap on this deck camera, which is the Arlo Pro 3, and I get a really nice night vision view of the back deck. And I can, of course, zoom in on it, like any other thing, and then it shows me that live icon here, so I know that this is being viewed live. Of course, I can toggle between different cameras that I have in my home, and then I can also, get the audio and then access any related accessories that are associated with that camera. Now, this happens to be a security system. I have my entryway. Security systems are just tied into any camera, I think, so that you can set that quickly from any camera. Now, under the settings, I can also view the battery level for this phone or this camera, and then if I want to, I can press this microphone and talk through that camera.
Get off my lawn.
So we're going to go ahead and hit the X here and close out of that. And of course, whenever I open the Home app, then it will just refresh this live little tile of that camera. And of course, as I mentioned, there's also a motion sensor accessory associated with this camera. And here's the backyard motion sensor, and I can have that show as separate tiles if I wanted to. Now, if you notice here, if you've seen HomeKit Secure video before, you know that it'll expose a bunch of clips that you can look at in the history in the Home app. I think with Arlo being built around their subscription service, I don't expect them to be supporting HomeKit Secure Video anytime soon. But what I would love is for Apple to add a way for companies like Arlo to expose that clip history up to a certain time period to HomeKit. So while I'm browsing the Apple Home app, I can happen to see those clips and watch them and, save them in my photo library or whatever else right within the Home app, even though they're actually recorded and managed by Arlo Smart. So after I did my video on HomeKit enabled routers, a number of people mentioned that they were having trouble with their Arlo cameras and using them with HomeKit enabled routers. Personally, I added my Arlo system, and it's a new Arlo Pro 3 system, to my HomeKit enabled router network after I'd already set that up. So I haven't had any issues running Arlo's system in auto. It works just fine for me. Now, these are wireless cameras. They're powered by batteries. How is the battery life? So that's very dependent on both the amount of motion activity you have, some of the other settings you have in the camera, as well as the distance the camera is from the hub. Now, this is all different settings that you can tweak to optimize your battery life. Back to the modes we were talking about earlier, you can set those modes to be specific to certain cameras in certain situations. So if you're home, maybe you only want your indoor cameras to turn off because that's going to save their battery, because all you're moving around your home is not, you don't want notifications for that and just wasting battery power on, recordings that don't matter to you. I will say that the battery life seems good enough to not be that big of an issue. You just charge your camera every few months or whatever, but it's probably not as good as some other cameras like the Eufy Cam 2 that really advertise battery life as a top feature for them. The camera that I have in the driveway dropped almost 10% within a week, but there was a lot of time where I had my base station really far away and it was really poor signal, and it's gotten a lot of motion events, and I've improved the signal and I've done some other stuff to optimize, but the camera in the back, which has always had good signal to the hub, that has only dropped like 1% or 2% over the week. So don't consider what I've done with batteries to be like complete scientific tests, but there are two other options you have with Arlo cameras as well. First of all, the batteries are removable, so you can get these batteries in a charger pack that are ready to go. So then instead of having to take your cameras down and charge them, you can just swap in a new battery and then charge the other one. And then you can also have them on continuous power, where you have a cord hooked up to the camera all the time, supplying electricity, and that can run either into your power system in your home, or they also sell solar panels that you can attach, especially for outdoor cameras. So is the Arlo Pro 3 the best camera for your smart home? I mean, I've been really impressed with the performance. I think that, based on my initial research and then actually using this system, Arlo makes quality cameras and they pay attention to detail. Now, one of the things I didn't really mention up front in my video is that this camera not only works really well with Apple HomeKit, but it also integrates with Amazon Alexa and Google Nest. So some people who are into Apple HomeKit are all into Apple HomeKit, and that's all they want to deal with. But other people people are more concerned about getting something that works with multiple ecosystems so that they can use different voice assistants, or, maybe not everybody in their family is all in on Apple devices. Just having that broader compatibility gives you flexibility not only today, but also down the road with whatever you want to do with your smart home. So I think if you're interested in that flexibility, Arlo presents a really nice set of integrations with these different smart home players. Yeah, it's not going to be, the complete built-in native of Nest cameras with Google Nest, or a HomeKit secure video camera with HomeKit, but it's still going to be a great integration and provide you with a lot of great features. The other key thing that I think would make it be very attractive to you is if video quality, just the resolution and the quality of the picture of the video you're recording is a very high priority to you, then investing in something like Arlo might be worth it. At the same time, there are a lot of other great video players out there like Eufy that I've already mentioned, and some other companies like Eve entering the game very soon. So if you're into HomeKit secure video and things that integrate with HomeKit, I think that there are a lot of other great options out there that might also be a little bit less money than investing all in an Arlo system. So I don't think that the Arlo Pro system, especially in the Arlo Pro 3, is the camera for everybody, but it is a very compelling option, especially if you're interested in video quality and having something that integrates across not only HomeKit, but also Amazon Alexa and Google Nest. Let me know down in the comments what kinds of video cameras you've already bought or are interested in getting for your smart home. Are you all in with HomeKit, or are you looking for things that are more compatible with different ecosystems at the same time as using a lot of the automation and other stuff in HomeKit? Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really does help people. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already, and hit the bell for notifications so you know when new videos are uploaded. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. My name's Eric Welander. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Arlo Pro. Hanzo, my cat is just here making a bunch of noise, and it's really annoying.